you're in business, find a similar company that may or may not be your competitor. Like in our case, we work with a lot of facilities management people. I can easily team with a cleaning service. I can easily team with someone that does concierge.
You could team with someone who does contracting work, electrical work.
I could team with somebody that does food services in large facilities. And one is not going to take away from the other. We can build our list. We can do business development together. And that's how we create cooperative economics. So here are some advantages of partnerships. Number one, 2 heads are better than one.
More than 2 is even better.
It depends. More than 2 heads, you might get in trouble. Number 2, your business is easy to establish and startup costs are lower. So you get to share the startup cost or the execution expenses when you have a partner involved.
That's if they got capital.
They may have a different kind of capital.
That's what I was gonna say.
Capital is not just money. It could be intellectual capital. It could be creative
resources.
capital. It could be
blood. They might put in their own blood, hard work, sweat equity.
Right.
They'll be like, listen, I'll put up the money, but they'd be like, okay, I don't have the money, but I'll go and be at the front counter 4 days out of the week. Deal.
So number 3, there's more capital available when you use and leverage a partnership. If you need to borrow, you have greater borrowing capacity. We're currely in a partnership.
We're in a
partnership.
We're in a couple partnerships.
And one of our partners is a real estate entity, and so part of the clause is that, all right, if we need to go out and borrow more for the real estate, we can use your credit and my credit and everybody's credit in the group, because that gives us better borrowing and
it does
borrowing capacity and bargaining power.
I scratched that part out of the agreement.
Number 5, high caliber employees can be made partners. So Cope mentioned this, like if you have employees, they don't just work for you, they work with you. So if you have the opportunity, treat them like partners, empower them to make decisions. Number 6, there is opportunity for income splitting and the advantage of particular importance when it comes to taxing.
Some people might not see income splitting as an advantage.
Hey,
they might have a mentality like they want it all.
But what's the
0?
Well, no, that's not what they say. What is it? 100% of 0?
It's 0.
50% of something is still more than 100% of 0.
0.
Yeah.
100% 0 is 0.
Right.
One is better than none.
So those are some of the benefits of having a partnership, but there are also drawbacks. I mean, you mentioned not wanting to put your partner in a bad place, so that there's liability when things don't get done for all the partners and parties involved.
100%.
And then when it comes to debt, like say something doesn't go well,
you better sign everything equally. So if something go wrong and there's debt left over, make sure everybody split it. Don't sign solely for all the debt. Ever.
So trust is a glue that holds many organizations together. It turns deflection into transparency and suspicion into empowerment.
Ooh.
And conflict into creativity. With it, trust that is, a tiny company can grow into a worldwide leader.
Yo, stop looking at my
And
papers.
without it, a giant corporation can get toppled. That's why we want to make sure we dig deep and talk about trust with you in this episode. So, Chief, tell me about a time in the soapbox history where somebody betrayed your business trust.
Oh, gosh. Do we have to talk about the negative?
Well, we want to set a context, right? Because I don't want people to think that we're just sitting here pulling stuff on Google. Like, we're literally talking from our own personal experiences.
I don't want to say, talk about...
It's not necessarily negative because
okay,
people
I got you.
People are going to disappoint you.
I got you. Don't worry. I got you, homie. So, betray... You talking about... You say betray trust. I don't know if I take it all the way to betray trust, but we're talking about partnerships and building, and I don't want to talk about it because I don't want to seem like I'm sitting here pointing fingers. But let me give you a good illustration. we work with a couple. You're asking about the soapbox. We work with a couple different partners in service some of the different service categories we provide. So here would be a great example, and I'm not saying this is the case, but I've experienced it, but I'm just painting a picture. This is not exactly verbatim what happened, so just in case any one of my partners who provide services listening, this is for entertainment purposes only.
Entertainment and edification.
And this is a fictional
and educational.
And this is a fictional story based on real life events.
So it's like a parable.
Yeah, it's like in a movie. Like it says that those come up on the screen. So I'm going to say, let's say I'm working with one of our dry cleaning partners, right? And we agree, and this has happened to me, but not with this particular partner.
Not with the current partner.
Right. And not in dry cleaning. But I'm just going to leave it at that. I feel like I'm about to throw so much shade. But it's fact.
Put on your sunglasses, ladies and gentlemen.
We enter a relationship, which is awesome because I just had a great meeting with a new potential partner over the weekend. And like myself and another colleague and I who are going to team up to partner with this. So it'd kind of be like this 3-way thing, partnership thing.
Yeah, that didn't sound good.
Yeah, that's why I said partnership later on, because Commerce and Chill has a different rating, and like I'm super excited about it, and like I really get excited about partnerships and working with people because it just expands the opportunities for
everyone involved.
Everyone, like, and then it just becomes this compounding effect, like compounding interest. But anyway, so I engage with. We using the dry cleaner as an example. And when we start a partnership, we outline everything. Obviously, we have a pricing structure. We have a timing structure. And then let's say I get a bill. And when I get that bill from them, there's a change in the price for a certain item or a certain service.
So like you have agreed upon pricing. Say, for example, they say for a wool coat, they're going to charge you $25. And then now it's the middle of winter. You send them the wool coat, expecting to pay $25, and they send you back a bill for $30.
Right. So,
and don't say anything. Just send the bill.
Right. So when you talk about, you talk about trust or building a relationship in business partners or in the work environment, I look at that totally. And listen, I get it. There's inflation, cost, supplies, all kinds of things happen, right? And COVID has messed up some stuff, and then there's another group of people who are using COVID as an excuse to charge more.
And to ring the doorbell.
And yeah, so that would be, to me, that's huge for me, because when we enter into these partnerships, these relationships, and to me, it's more of a relationship than a partnership. Because like I'll get on the phone with some of our partners and some of our vendors, and we're just like, hey, or like we text them, we're like, hey, how's everything going, right? Like blah blah blah. Like we talk about business like last. It's just like, yeah. And then the conversation when we start talking about business is like, how can we do more? Like one of our colleagues hit me up. We have a partnership over the weekend, and he was like, hey, there's a spot in your zone that you operate out of who's shutting down. He's like, here's his info. Like, go over there. Maybe you could buy the store, you could get the store, et cetera, et cetera. And like he was giving me all kind of back of the envelope details about this, because he's worked with this particular business in a different capacity. He was like, hey, maybe it could be to your advantage. And one, he didn't have to do it. Two, I respect that. And three, let's be clear. If I get more business, he gets more business. And what he's referring to, what he's giving me the heads up on is something that will increase our business, but increases his, because it's in the line of business that he works with us closely. So he could easily 5X, 10X his business with us by giving us the heads up or tip, whatever we want to call it, or do an introduction to this business who's looking to make an exit. So to me, I totally went left field on your question, but the trusting is super important, because who wants to be in some type of relationship, professional, personal, and you always got to feel like you have your guard up. Like you just can't have open and like free dialogue and conversation. You got to be like, oh, I better not say that. And there's some things you just don't talk about. I get that. Like We're talking about, professional. But if you feel like you always got to be on your toes or on eggshells when you're interacting or around that particular person, then what's the sense in having any type of relationship with them, like personal friendship or whatever, when you can't let your hair down to a certain extent and be somewhat relaxed and take your guard down? Then you might as well just be out in the street surrounded by a total stranger with your money in your hand. Everybody knows how much you got, and you just watch it to make sure nobody knocks you over your head and take it.
Now, this is listed on our list as a drawback, but it could potentially also be a benefit. Like, you actually spread risk across a partnership. So if I'm at risk of winning or losing something, if I bring Mr. Waleed in as my partner, then he can take part of that risk off of me.
Technically. Mm-hmm. You could reduce your risk by bringing in partners, depending on what it is and the knowledge of the other partners and the resources and access they have. So it lowers the chance of the business or that thing failing because you have more heads working on it. Granted, we're saying all things equal, they're knowledgeable in what you're doing. These are, fairly bright, intelligent people. You're not just bringing on some random Joes to be like, I'm just coming along for the ride. It's not an entourage type thing. Mm-hmm. So you reduce the risk because you're increasing your odds of success because you're adding, more brain power, more knowledge, et cetera, to that.
Oh, I thought you were going to say.
To that thing.
And I'll bring this up.
Thing.
Waleed is participating in the EYEAN Entrepreneur Access Network program currently. And he brought up a very salient point on a recent networking call with the group.
Don't sleep on my ideas.
And what he suggested to the team was, because the team at EY was like, oh, what can we give you? And Waleed was like, yeah, y'all don't have to give us anything. Like, basically, we have enough within ourselves that we could partner with one another and make a greater impact in our current client bases. And to that end, what you want me to say what you did, or you want to talk about it?
Oh, you can talk about it. Go. You on the road.
So
Let
what?
me not take away from your camera shine.
What Waleed suggested was that the different members of the cohort get together and share information. So if we're sending something out to Soapbox clients, those could potentially be clients for Happy Cork, which is a local wine and spirits company.
Shout out.
in the neighborhood. And it's like, okay, so why don't Happy Cork, you give us some samples so we can send it out to our database. So you have a message that you'd like us to share. What's the eyeglass company? Votella. Ladies, I'm apologizing in advance. So there's an eyeglass company. What commonalities are there between their target customer and the target customer of the Soapbox and the target customer of Happy Cork? Let's start looking at what we can leverage amongst ourselves as opposed to always going out to somebody else and asking them for help. And when the folks at EY heard that, it was like, mind blown. Like, yeah. Here are the 10 laws of trust. Number 1, start with personal integrity. Start with personal integrity.
Okay.
All right.
Be personally integrable.
Number 2, invest in respect.
RESEPT.
Okay.
Something what it means
Number
to me.
3, empower others.
Legit.
Number 4, measure what you want to achieve.
Got it.
Number 5, create a common dream. Number 6, keep everyone informed.
Slack.
Number 7, embrace respectful conflict.
Hey, yo, if you don't read my memo, I'm going to reach across this table and slap you. I don't think that's respectful conflict. That happened in the meeting this morning. I was like,
I wasn't in that meeting. Number 8, show humility.
Okay.
Number 9, strive for win-win negotiations.
Okay.
And number 10, fix breaches immediately. When? Immediately. So start with
What's
personal.
the etymology of immediately?
Right now. Right now. Not later.
Can we get
right now?
A Merriam-Webster on that?
No. Go into so give the folks a little
done.
your thoughts on starting with personal integrity.
Well, let me tell you what I think about personal integrity. Well, someone should be at a high level.
That's funny here. It's not funny.
This dude is playing with the sound again. You see what I mean? The level of personal integrity on a sound engineer right now is something we need to have a meeting about. So, yeah, all jokes aside, though, man, this episode of Commerce and Chill is crazy. More so for me than anybody else. But anyway, what do you want to know about personal integrity?
What are your thoughts on starting with personal integrity?
Like, where do you begin? Like the integrity, of someone that you're interacting with and you have this professional or relationship with, I think it's super important because their level of integrity is going to speak volume. So you know what? It's not always the skills someone brings to the table. Like, can you use Final Cut? Can you use DaVinci? Can you use Canva? Versus Photoshop.
I promise before the next episode of Commerce and Chill, this dude here is going to get some sleep.
I'm just laughing over some stuff. Like, we were sending memes around about people who were like, oh, do you have, what was it? Something about editing skills. And they were like, yeah, what
proficient in Canva.
Yeah, what platforms you use? And they was like, Canva. There's like, I do videos, I do photos. And it's like, what platform you use? I'm thinking they're going to be like, oh, Final Cut or Photoshop or, like even Adobe Illustrator. They was like, Canva. And I'm just like, I'm done, bro. I use Canva. You shouldn't be using Canva on a major level. Oh my God. But anyway, so the person might not they might not have the skills that you need 100%, but that person has the integrity and like the wherewithal and they will figure it out and they will put their all in it because that integrity speaks. And then you're not worried about like, are they going to cut corners? Or are they going to do something shady? Or are they going to lie? Or are they going to steal a cheat?
Are you going to end up in court because of them?
Or they going to get you fired or your client going to end up firing you.
Your job.
Like, no, not them losing a job, but your company loses a client due to the level of integrity.
That's a soft spot right there. Let's not go there.
Okay, you asked me about personal integrity, so now I answered. Don't tell me it's a soft spot. Put a Band-Aid on. I don't know what to do. I've been preaching this for years. I've been saying it since day one of us having an emerging business. There's a lack of business development that goes on amongst the community, right? Especially of local businesses. And a lot of it, I don't think is anything that's done purposely. It's just people have their heads down. And in a lot of cases, they just trying to survive, especially COVID has made things a little more challenging. People just trying to keep their businesses going. And these things that are so simple, listen, the most simplest things when you look back over time, they're genius, right? The genius things lie in simplicity. And it's just looking at what is this simple thing you can do that will have some kind of impact, good impact amongst these. And biz dev is like, it's so huge. And like, we just do not capitalize on it on the way we should and in the communities. Like, you have a laundry service, it's sneaker cleaning service. Somebody else has a wine and spirit. Somebody else has a restaurant. There is zero competition between those three different businesses. So why aren't those business owners sitting down and figuring out, okay, listen, I do this for marketing, you do this. How do we do something together? Or how do we piggyback off each other's? And it costs us zero. Hey, I send out a newsletter. It goes to 10,000 clients every week. You want to get the footer banner in my newsletter that just says, hey, have brunch at your place? You want to get the header part that says, sponsored by or together with or et cetera, and it says happy cork in it, and it says, toast, like what, whatever. Like, how hard is that? And it's just like so simple. I've been preaching it for years. And then I tell these people, oh yeah, it's a great idea. But here's where it really falls apart. It's just not about having an idea. It's about execution. And people will say, well, ideas are crap and execution is everything. Wrong. It's a combination of both. They're both equally important because without the idea, execution means nothing. And without the execution, the idea goes nowhere. So you need something to execute on, and you need
to execute well.
And the thing that
At
you
least
have
good.
needs to be executed, somewhat well. It might not be perfect, but last time I checked, doing something beats doing absolutely nothing. I rest my case.
Okay. So if you're in some business, find a similar company that may or may not be your competitor. Like in our case, we work with a lot of facilities management people. I can easily team with a cleaning service. I can easily team with someone that does concierge.
You could team with someone who does contracting work, electrical work.
I could do team with somebody that does food services in large facilities. And one is not going to take away from the other. We can build our list. We can do business development together. And that's how we create cooperative economics. I mean, this year, the federal government recognized Juneteenth as a federal holiday, Emancipation Day. Look,
Thank you.
Some of us still are not free. I think what would be a much better use of the day and time that we have to celebrate Juneteenth is to look at a way to build our cooperative economics, especially in the Black community, especially towards building Black wealth, because being enslaved for an additional 2 years in Texas precluded a lot of Black families from being able to start building wealth. And so if we have an option, my option is not going to be to eat fried chicken and red watermelon and drink red pop, but it's going to be to build some cooperative economics. And
was that an event that was going on?
Well, in some places, that's part of what they do for the celebration.
I'll pass. I'm trying to add another comma to my accounts. So
you can do it through partnership.
Yeah. I'll celebrate the team on that.
So if you're still not convinced that partnerships might be a way for you to go.
And my partner's accounts. Not just another comma on my account, my partner's accounts too.
That sounds like
clear about that.
Keep everyone informed.
Simple as that. Just keep people updated, whether it's phone, email, text, Slack. Hit those milestones, those setbacks happen. Just keep people updated.
One of the consistent pieces of feedback I get from our clients is that they appreciate that we communicate with them. So if something goes wrong,
just tell them.
Say something. If something goes right, say something. If
just
they send an email, respond within 24 hours. If they call, answer the phone. Keep everybody involved so that there's no room to let your mind run amok. Because, folks' imaginations can do some interesting things. For example, this organization that's burning up, that caused me a lot of headaches last week. There was an issue with the leadership that's gone rogue, not sharing very specific data with the team members.
Oof.
Or
that's everything going up in
with
flames.
the board members.
Oof.
Or with the funders.
Some fire sound effects over
And
there.
so when all the different stakeholders came together with questions, no one except for the CEO could answer any of the questions because no one had a full set of information. In your
sounds like you guys got Theranos. It sounds like you got Theranos.
I feel like I got Theranos.
And this is not the Avengers either. Thanos. You got Theranos.
But it's important. It goes a long way just to make an effort to keep everyone informed. And when you provide people with the right information, that's a key tool that will help you achieve your organization's goals. Number 7, embrace respectful conflict.
It's cool. Yeah. You can have those debates. I was in one this morning. There was a very respectful conflict meeting going on, and people got to share their point of view as well as their feelings.
I don't deal with feelings in the workplace.
Yeah, but you got to address them because the question is, what are those feelings based on? And then tie that back to what happened in the workplace or what didn't happen that caused that. And then you find out the root of the issue and then solve it. So it becomes this respectful conflict. Like, hey, you were supposed to do X, Y, and Z. as part of this project, and you were late a week delivering it, which caused the whole team to get thrown off the timetable for the project, which made our department look bad because that piece of the project we had to give to another department to support their initiative. So you can have that respectful conflict, and then you never know what comes out of it. And a lot of times you'd be surprised it'd be something good that comes out of it that makes that team that much stronger to propel it forward on the next project.
Think of this quote from the late steel magnate Andrew Carnegie, who said, "Teamwork is the ability to work together toward a common vision, the ability to direct individual accomplishments towards an organization's objectives. It is the fuel that allows common people to attain uncommon results." So adding extra commas in my account and in your account, that sounds like a winning team. That sounds like a winning partnership. Furthermore, I'll give you a few statistics before we wrap it up. According to Workspan.com, 57% of organizations use partnerships to acquire new customers. Think about how you can do the same. And 45% of executives agree that keeping strategic partnerships active and mutually rewarding is the biggest challenge. So you want to get those partnerships going. You want to make sure that they're relevant, that they're working, that there's a commonality in vision and values, and that you're getting those commas in your respective accounts. And yeah, that's how we do, and that's what we want you to do too.
Okay. I'm listening to you.
So with respect to Partners for Commerce and Chill, we are actively recruiting guests. So if you would like to join us in the Commerce and Chill box, reach out to us, DM us, email us, hit us up. We hope that you've already subscribed. But let's talk about how we can partner in putting out some great content to share about business development, personal relationship development, and then how we can all just win all the way around. Chief, you have any closing remarks?
I think you said it. Just reach out. Listen, come on. Let's, talk about your story, what you're doing in the entrepreneurial world, or you're about to get into the entrepreneurial world and you just want to talk and chop it up. You got questions or you want to bounce some ideas around and just have a conversation. Absolutely. Hit us up, email, DM, leave it in the comments. I don't care. Just put it anywhere. Instagram, hit us up on LinkedIn, go to Commerce and Chill, our personal accounts. Just do all that. And then we'll definitely reach out to you. And then we're going to sit back and reformulate everything and then put it out there so we can make Commerce and Chill,
even commercier and chillier.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say that, but, to add more value. So today, we're filming this episode today.
We're going to take a brief hiatus so that I can recuperate because I done put in the work the first half of this year.
Karaoke in
as evidenced by my ponytail. Y'all know I don't rock a ponytail too often on Conversation.
Singing karaoke in an aquarium. Yeah, that's really hard work.
So I'm going to catch my breath.
Putting in work.
We're going to take some time to refresh, and come back with the hotness to help take you through the second half of the year so you can kill your goals over the next 6 months and for time to come. Put some extra commas in your account and have more commerce and be a little chiller. So in closing, I am Jessica Johnson Cope.
I'm Waleed.
And we'll see you soon.